There is no human on Earth who hasn't thought about the end of our lifetime. A theme for poets and musicians, something that looms at the back of our minds. An unavoidable truth for those who fear it and for the ones that see it as a circle of life. But what happens when you fall in love with the Grim Reaper himself? This is the premise of A Date with Death, a romance chat simulator developed by 2.5 Studios, and indie studio focused on story-rich visual novels. They are also the developers of Dreambound, Amelie, Start Again, Beyond the Abyss, and my personal favorite, The Divine Speaker. I received this game with its DLC as a gift from one of my friends some months ago, and it came to my attention that, despite its rising popularity and the sea of Let's Play videos, for some reason we don't have many reviews about it. And of course, I knew I had to make one myself. This video is not sponsored, this is simply my honest opinion, and I'm only offering insights so you can decide if it's something for you or not. I've also broken down the aspects of the game into sections so you can skip or jump between them. So, with that out of the way, let's get started. It's been a day like any other in your life. You live in a nice, small, cozy apartment in the city in the company of your lovely pet. The gossip across your door is great. Life and work seems good and everything is just normal. Except, your normal looks like you have Chilean and Hot Chunks luck at the exact same time. From car crashes to falling pianos, it seems like you're a magnet for danger, but nothing ever happens to you. You're alive and able to walk away without a scratch, no matter how many life-threatening situations the universe puts you in. That is, until a certain stranger introduces himself into your life. At the other side of the screen you meet, also known as Grimmy, Little Reaper, or the best of them all, Steve. With ridiculously long, white silky hair and dashing red eyes, it's obvious that himself has been stealing way more than souls. And it would do him well to be less cocky about it. As it is, he seems very keen on taking yours. There is a small problem though. He can't take it if you are still alive. And truth to be told, you are quite fond and attached to it. That is exactly how a pet is born. He is confident he can take your soul in less than a week, and you are confident you can keep yourself alive at the end of it. If by that time your heart is still beating, you get to keep your soul. I think one of the strongest aspects of the game is the writing. It's very funny for the most part, but it's also emotional when it needs to be. It also happens to have one of my favorite dynamics, which is mortal and immortal, because you don't know if life will tear them apart or if they will spend eternity together. If this was a fic and I had to put a tag on it, I think it could be cracked treated seriously. However, that doesn't mean you can have a bad outcome. There are 4 endings that come with the free base game and an extra ending with the purchase of the DLC. Not every answer is meaningful to get a specific ending, however there are guides online in case you're seeking to get a specific one. My advice would be, play it at least once without looking online, it is definitely worth it. As it commonly happens in the genre, you will have some limitations regarding personality. Some games have this aspect more pronounced than others, and in case you are looking for a complete immersion, you might be drawn to something else. Sure, you can absolutely choose what to answer with, but the truth is the main character of this game is 100% a pain in the... You don't get to be shy or soft-spoken, and it might be a great deal to some. If you're like me, however, you will love it because boy does this game enable my inner gremlin. After all, when will you have another chance to bully the very Grim Reaper? When you first open the game, you will be faced with the main menu screen. It has simple colors that will make you remember the 8-bit color era, and a layout that doesn't feel busy but it's definitely not simple. Here you can start or load the game, change the settings, check out the gallery, or simply enjoy the music. This is where I have my very first small complaint though. I feel the interface can sometimes be misleading. One example is when you go into the music tab. You can't close it with the exact corner of the screen. You need to click on return to actually go back to the main screen. When you press start, and if you are familiar with the genre, you know you will sometimes be faced with the task of making yourself or an OC before you start. Here you can pick between a feminine or a masculine frame, the skin color, facial features, clothes, and accessories. After picking your appearance, you can choose your name, gender, pronouns, and preference for compliments. The options, especially if you don't own the first DLC, are somewhat limited but gorgeous. However, I'm gonna be honest and say I do wish we had at least a third body option. If you want to make someone with a smaller or bigger body shape, you are stuck with what we have, and you might be forced to get a little bit creative with your options. Regardless, this is where I feel a date with Dead goes one step further, because customization doesn't stop once you're done with your appearance. You can also decorate your room and choose and name your pet. Gameplay-wise and similar to our life beginnings and endings, your appearance doesn't really matter much outside of the character creator, as there is no custom art. This might upset a few people, but you also have to take into account not every game can afford that level of customization. There is also no acknowledgement of your physical traits in-game, besides the little portrait at the corner of the chat room. It does, however, let you save a PNG of your character once you're done. Speaking of the chat room, once you progress enough in the story, you will be able to change your nickname and your profile picture in chat. Some of them are actually Easter eggs to their other visual novels. The chat room will also have a small ads section on the left corner, and if you click on them, it will take you to the Steam or itch.io page of the games promoted. The ads are hilarious and more often than not have absolutely nothing to do with the plot of their games. But it makes you click, doesn't it? When Mystic Messenger came out, I was fascinated by this concept of having a game unfold in a chat room in real time. The fact that you had to wait until the chat rooms were open certainly helped with the idea of being someone whose only way of communication was a phone, except, well, if you're like me or your phone glitches and refuses to give you notifications when it should, chances are you successfully finished the game an average of 3 times and then kept missing chats until you ended up getting the same ending over and over again. Similarly to Mystic Messenger, A Date with Dead introduces you to a brand new chat room, this one akin to all PC Messenger apps with a modern edgy look. It comes with the advantage or disadvantage, depending on how much you like the mechanic, that you don't have to wait for days to advance the story. Where Mystic Messenger works with phone calls, A Date with Dead does with video calls. You can even interact, albeit in a limited way, with the elements in your room. You can change your appearance in the closet, pamper your pet, be the nosy neighbor and overhear conversations in the hallway, and most importantly, water your plant. Trust me on this one, you really wanna do that. I mentioned before you're a bit limited on what kind of choices you can make, however that doesn't mean there are none. After all, like all visual novels, you will rely on multiple choice prompts to advance through the story and get all the different endings. Of course, you can skip over the text you've already read to reach said endings faster. Perhaps my only complaint with this aspect of the game is that the skip function is a bit flawed in chat. Even if there are no choices to choose from, as long as you are the one sending a message, you have to click on it. And if you happen to click past to skip a part of it, you might accidentally click on an option you were not thinking of choosing in the first place. Sure, you can always scroll up with the mouse wheel to rewind the last few texts, but I wish there was an option to avoid clicking on each single message. I think the love poured into this project is very obvious. While it has some flaws, and I'm aware the story might not be everyone's cup of tea, the fact that they were able to fund their new DLC in Kickstarter in just 11 minutes speaks volumes to me. But why believe me when the base game is free on Steam? By the time this video is online, Beyond the Bed should already be available on Steam. It includes 5 extra days of chatting and 4 new endings. Since it's also their first anniversary, they have prepared an event that will last from December 6 to December 12. So far, they have released this cute base so you can celebrate with Dreamy. They are also running a giveaway and an Ask Me Anything. For those who wish to acquire the DLC, please keep in mind that while the main game is for teens and older, Beyond the Bed has an optional adult patch for those who wish to play that version of the game. That would be all from me. If you liked the video, please consider subscribing to become a part of my horde. Don't forget to hit the bell, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye!